stunning comments from Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, who now runs the RNC, about voting in America. They're from a new video that's been posted online. In it, she spells out a goal, which, if achieved, would radically reshape U.S. voting laws and impose broad new draconian restrictions. And she implies that her father-in-law is on board.
Once Donald Trump is president of the United States, once we have a huge majority in the House, because that's also something that needs to happen this election cycle, and we take back the Senate, then you can change the voting laws. Then you could have 1 day of voting. You could have paper ballots. You could have voter ID.
It's a breathtaking goal, calling for, quote, 1 day of voting, meaning an end to early voting and an end to mail-in voting. Roughly 100 million Americans voted early in 2020. She's also pushing the right-wing plan to enact stricter voter ID laws, which would have a disparate impact on communities of color.
Stricter voter ID laws? What? Wait a minute. I mean, how do you get stricter than presenting ID to vote? You already have voter ID laws. Do we need 2 pieces of ID now in order to vote? The hell is she talking about? Okay, so after years of accusations of financial mismanagement, the Republican National Committee is overhauling its 2024 election operations, a full-on MAGA makeover and takeover that the RNC claims will curb excessive spending and steer as much money as possible to support Donald Trump's campaign. I told you so. Nobody else will get any of this money anymore. But it appears that one of those strategic spending moves may have a profound effect on a successful minority outreach program, which 2 people with knowledge of the plans characterize as self-defeating, potentially erasing gains with groups of gettable new voters who have cooled off or cooled on the Democratic Party. As one of the sources put it to the Daily Beast, the tagline might as well be, "Make the RNC white again." Let me explain. The program at issue is an initiative from 2022 midterms where RNC field staff engage voters through gatherings and events held at community centers and areas with heavy minority populations, most specifically Latino communities. In January, the Messenger reported that the RNC had already shuttered most of the nearly 24 Hispanic community centers that served as the base for the program, leaving just 5 open. At the time, however, the RNC chalked the closures up to a temporary byproduct of its budget cycle. However, the organization also announced that it was preparing to double down on these efforts for 2024, opening 40 new centers in Latino, Black, Asian American, Native American, Jewish, and veteran communities across the country. But 2 people with knowledge of the plans told the Daily Beast that the RNC has decided to scrap their diversity efforts. Instead of going after minority voters, RNC apparently plans to remake itself more in Trump's image. Are you confused about what "Make America Great Again" means to them? You still confused? Okay, let me paint the picture. 1961, really 1958 if you're being technical about it. All right, Mr. Mayor, thoughts?
I mean, say it out loud, right?
That's right,
Say
they
it out
are.
loud. Like, first you go in there, you lay off tens, 20, 50, 60 people got laid off. As soon as they came in, I figured, hey, they clearing the road so Trump can have more money for his legal fees.
That's correct.
That's what I thought this was about to be. But this don't even look like this. They about to do exactly what we expected them to do. Figure out a way to make America's electorate whiter, because white people aren't being born as much as people of color are. We know the last 3 generations have been darker than those before them, especially the last 2 that are 40-some% other than white. We know that the policy of the Republican Party is not a platform that can win elections. Definitely not nationwide. If you look at the last 5 or 6 presidential elections, Republicans have lost on popular vote. The problem is we have these outdated, antiquated, and also racist tactics to help elect people, i.e. the Electoral College, i.e. the 2 Senate per state. Even though Los Angeles itself has more population than 20 states in the middle of this country, they only have 2 senators representing the entire state of California and about 20 for these mostly white conservative voters. So I'm telling people, Pay attention before you be living in Hitler's Germany in 2024.
Yeah, and that's the purpose here. This is a reflection of the neo-Nazi party of old. If you look at the strategic design of how they're taking over the political apparatus, it's very similar to the way Hitler took over the Nazi party before gaining government power. All right?